So in this video we're going to have a look at a few things that you need to know about fractions in Year 6. Okay, so first of all we might look at finding a fraction of a group. You may be asked, what is 1/3 of 15? Okay, now what it's saying is basically 15 divided into 3 groups and how many are in one group. Okay, so if you were drawing it, you would draw 3 groups, because the bottom number tells you down here how many it's been divided into, and this number here tells you how many you're sharing. So we're sharing 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And this top number tells you how many groups you're talking about. We're talking about one group. So how many are in this group? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's just take a little step further. I'm just going to change the colour. So now let's say the question might be, what is 2/3 of 15? Well, it's saying you've got 15 and you want to share it into 3 groups. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then it's asking you how many are in 2 groups. So here are 2 groups, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now there is a quicker way of doing it without having to draw it. So if you understand that, the next step is to move on to working it out in your head. So let's do it again. 1/3 of 15. To work it out without drawing it is saying 15 divided by 3 times 1. So 15 divided by 3 equals 5. 5 times 1 equals 5. Let's see if I can fit the next example in here. Okay, so without drawing them, this one here, we're going to 15 divided by 3 times 2. So 15 divided by 3 equals 5 times by 2. Now we're timesing about 2 because we're talking about 2 groups, equals 10. That's another way of doing it without having to draw it. Now let's have a look at another example. So we might have, the question is, what is 2/3 of 9? Now if we're drawing it, we've got 9 and we want to share it in 3 groups. So 1, 2, 3, and share out 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But now we're talking about how many are in 2 groups. So here are 2 groups, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's look at it working out without drawing it. So we're going to do 9 divided by 3, because we're sharing it by the 3, equals 3. But we want to know how many are in 2 groups, so we times it by 2, equals 6. Okay, now let's have a look at adding fractions which have a common denominator. Now we know that the top number is called the numerator and the bottom number is called the denominator. When we are saying that adding fractions with a common denominator, another word for common is like. So you can see the bottom number here is a denominator, which is 9, and here it's also 9, they are the same. When you are adding fractions which have the same denominator, the denominator remains the same, and you simply add the numerator at the top. So 3 plus 4 equals 7. So 3 over 9 plus 4 over 9 equals 7 over 9. Let's do another one. Okay, let's now have a look at 3 over 10 plus 6 over 10. Now the denominator, which is the bottom number, is the same, so that remains the same in the answer, and we simply add the top, which is numerator, which is 3 plus 6 equals 9. Now we'll do another example. This one's slightly different. So let's have a look at 6/7 plus 4/7. Now the denominator, which is the bottom number, is the same, so that remains the same. Add 6 and 4, which is 10. You notice now that the top number here, 10, is bigger than the bottom number. So we can write that as a mixed number. That we can write as 10 over 7 or 1 whole, because 7 over 7 equals 1. Well, if we've got 7, let's count on until we get to 10. 7, 8, 9, 10 is 3 over 7. Let's do that again with another example. Okay, let's go 5 over 6 plus 6 over 6 equals, the denominator is the same, so it remains the same. We add 5 and 6, which is 11. We can also, if we look at it, if the top number here is bigger than the bottom number, we can write that as a mixed number. We have 1 whole because 6 over 6 equals 1. And if we count on from 6, we've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is 1, and 5 over 6. The same principle applies when you are subtracting fractions if the denominator is the same. So here the denominator is both 6, so we can write 6. 5 take 4 is 1. Another example, 8 over 10 take 3 over 10. The denominator is the same, so that remains there. 8 take 3 equals 5. Now things get a bit more complicated when you're actually looking at fractions which don't have the same denominator. So let's have a look at 3 over 7 plus 4 over 10. Now what I mean is, okay, let's circle the largest number here, which is 10. Can you times 7 by something to equal 10? Well, no, you can't. So you can't use the method I was using before. So what you need to do is you need to times everything over here by 10 and times everything over here by 7. So then we end up with 10 times 3 is 30, 7 times 10 is 70, plus 7 times 4 is 28, over 10 times 7, which is 70. You can see here we have a like or a common denominator. Then 30 plus 28 equals 58, over 70. Let's try that again a little bit neat. Okay, 4 over 5 plus 6 over 7. Largest number 7, can you multiply 7 by something to equal 7? No, you can't. So the next step you need to do is you need to do 4 times 7, because 7 is the denominator, and then 5 times 7 plus 6 times 5 over 7 times 5. 4 times 7 is 28 over 7 times 5 is 35 plus 6 times 5 is 30 over 7 times 5, which is 35. The last part is to add them together. 28 plus 30 is 58 over 35.